This all being said, I am kind of tempted to have these controlled by a plastic manufacturing. That way, we'll only store petrol. It will only use the petrol if we have a need for it, rather than making use of it when we don't. So, I'm actually going to remove that conveyor chute. I'm going to make the move to bring this all the way across. We're going to have it. Now, I don't need a conveyor receptacle. What is the storage capacity of a conveyor receptacle? Does anyone happen to know? If a conveyor receptacle can hold a decent amount of items in it, then I'll just use that. God, this is so relaxing. Watching Aavak streaming on my balcony with a nice cup of ginger tea. It's raining slightly with a lovely breeze while the sun is slowly rising. Someone please freeze time. Wow, that actually sounds amazing. Leave in, grab your phone, take a picture. Unless, you know, it's like, you know, obviously identifiable information. Like, you know, the skyline would be able to pinpoint where you live, in which case don't worry about it. But that actually just does sound amazing. See, I don't want there to ever be a backlog of plastic, because if that happened, the plastic could sit in here, which could cause me problems, because it could melt in there. So, you know what? Sure, we're going to just conveyor rail it, drop it. I'm going to have a smart storage. And we can just hook this directly into the main. Plug that there. Along with... What did I make that out of? Copper, hopefully? This is made out of... Copper. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Copper. And finally, an auto sweeper. Also made out of copper. I'll pop you. I can pop it wherever I want, really. We'll pop it there, so it gets the most bang for buck out of this area. This one will then send an automation signal over here. Now, pretty much I want these to turn on if that is not full. And since it sends a green signal when it becomes full, I want to not gate it. There we are. That should all work. Should be built on a priority 6. Good, good, good. Okay. Now, am I... No, I'm not using proximity. Good. That's very good then. We need more people who can build, though. Alright. So... I do want everyone to tidy on a priority. If there's a problem, I want them to do it quickly. So I'm going to leave that as a high. Toggling, life support, all these things are high. These are important things to have. But everything kind of from cooking down, I'm going to arrange via job priority. Filthy Fee, you're a mechatronics peep. Let's have a look at you. You've got some room. Filthy Fee will now also help me with building. Operating is your high priority. Researching there. Building can be your secondary priority. Digging, supplying. I'm going to pop storing down, supplying down a little. Well, actually digging down a little bit. There we go. Supplying can be in the middle point. It doesn't really matter. James. Yeah. Building and digging, they can be at the same sort of thing, but... Actually, yeah, we're going to drop those down. I do like you guys digging where you can. Don't want you farming, don't want you ranching at all. Manu, you're already well set up, actually. Digging and operating are kind of at the same level. That's all fine. Peachy Keen. Honestly, let's have a look at Peachy Keen and Robert Owen. Robert Owen, pretty much set up the same way as I imagine Peachy Keen. Oh, Peachy Keen also does cooking, which Robert Owen can't do. Yeah, I don't really want you guys doing any building. So you'll cook, and I'm happy for that to be your secondary priority. However, ranching should be a secondary priority as well. Operating, I'm going to pop that down for you. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Building, it can be in there, I guess, but once again, storing isn't a priority. So you'll have 3 jobs that you'll do, you know, before you'll do supplying or storing. But you're primarily farmers, and with the exception of Peachy Keen, who's also a bit of a cook. Let's have a look at skills again. James, yeah, I'm fine with James where he is. Shelley can do some cooking, though. Can James? Maybe I should have James help out with a little bit of cooking as well. I could do. So more cooks is never a bad thing. So James, I'm going to allow you to do cooking, but it's going to be a medium priority. So as a result, I'm actually going to drop building and digging down even further. And it's the same with Shelley. Building and digging down a little bit further. Operating down, but you will cook. But I want that to be a medium skill. You're just good at it. That's why you've got skill there, but it's not what I want you doing. Right. Now we've got Planeseeker, who is our primary diggerer. Dig in them building if you can. Let's see if you've got any more skills. You don't, so for the time being, I'm just going to leave you with that. But how do I want you built for this? Well, I don't want you researching, basically. In fact, people shouldn't research unless they are told to do so. That's not something that should ever be an option for anyone else, frankly. New duplicants should not do research at all, please and thank you. And also storing should be a much lower priority. Let's just make sure that everyone else is set to not bother with research. Only my researchers should ever do it because it takes so long. Otherwise. There you go. So we're back on Planeseeker. So you've got operating to balance. We've got a couple of things here. Hey, Mojo, how you doing, mate? The koalas are raiding. I mean, is that a thing? I can't really imagine koalas are particularly effective raiders. I'm gonna be honest. They're probably quite surprising if they drop on you, but I imagine that as long as they've been indulging in their preferred diet, they're pretty chill. Nerds are invading. Man the defenses. What? What do you mean? We don't have defenses. We rely on distracting people. Release the dancers. Death by cuteness. Okay, well, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. Someone get the eucalyptus. Diet, they eat tourists. That actually probably wouldn't surprise. Yeah, koala noises are quite terrifying. I will grant you that. Koalas can be extremely scary in that respect. Definitely. Could I get a shout out for Mojo, please? What are you playing, mate? Playing Factorio. Ah, good choice. How's your factory going? Are you doing another modded one, or are you rolling with more of a vanilla experience now that with the new release? I'm currently going through the riveting job of fixing my priorities. I should probably let the game move a bit slower while I'm doing this, actually. So, a digger. I've kind of got you in here to help with supplying, but I kind of like the idea of our digger also helping with that. Honestly. I think our digger can help with supplying. But should be primarily doing digging, building and supplying. But I don't think we really... No, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bump that up a little bit. It'll be the same priority as operating. Because there's very few things to operate, to be honest. So that shouldn't be a concern. Right, the Force, our only rancher. Let's have a look at you. Starting a new map, which is vanilla, with a few mods along the way. What kind of mods are they? I quite often go for, like, vanilla plus mods. So basically quality of life stuff. Things that don't really change the mechanics of the game in any meaningful way, but address some niggles or just make things a little bit easier. Though, that being said, I, for some reason, just never use things like squeak through or long reach. I don't know why I don't use those, because on paper, they meet my criteria. But in reality, I'm like, no. No, this would corrupt my game. I'm too pure for these things. Hey, Talk, how you doing, mate? Only savages use squeak through and long reach. I am glad that we are in agreement, Mojo. This is wonderful. Hey, Negnol, thank you very much for the 10 months, buddy. I managed to jump here a lot less than what I'd like, but it's always a pleasure. Hello, buddy. It's good to have you here. I feel long reach is too broken, but squeak through works if you think the pipes are above you. You know what? I've never thought of it like that, yeah. Yeah, I've never actually thought of it like that. That makes sense. That does make sense. Also, I mean, to be fair, quite a lot of pipes that are close to the ground are easily vaultable. Easily vaultable, but I don't know. I'm okay with it. I honestly, if the Avatar had an animation for, you know, kind of the side whoop over the fence, just like getting a little bit of a run up, planting one hand and swinging your legs over the pipe, I'd be fine with it. 100% fine. It slow you down a little bit, you know, but still, I don't know. That's what pipe to grounds are for, in my opinion. If I want to be able to walk through my pipe network, pipe to grounds. But yes, we need to check on the Force. Let's have a look at you, buddy. The Force. You can do cooking as well. Okay, so honestly, in almost every measurable way, you're the same as Pichiki and Mama. Yeah, you are. Okay, well then you should have a very similar priority list then. The pipe takes up a tile of space, so the pipe is 1 meter in diameter. That is not easy to vault over. But thing is, now I'm going to blow your mind a little bit here. So does the Avatar. And if you are a 1 meter cubed humanoid thing, wow. I mean, 1 meter tall is short, but 1 meter wide? Oof. Oof. Need to cut back on those biter burgers, my friend. But yeah, I think we'll go with a similar setup to Pichiki and Mama in this case. He's a chunky boy. Indeed. Very chunky if he's both 1 meter wide and 1 meter deep. Mind you, he'd probably be an amazing opera singer. Imagine all of that lung capacity. Huge, like, chest cavity. He'd be able to belt out some ridiculous songs. Well played. No, he's just a dwarf. Actually, that probably would make a lot more sense as well, yeah. I always think of dwarves as incredibly stocky humanoids. They're not just short ones. They're not perfectly proportioned. They're short, wide, and deep. And the suit Factorio guy is actually Super Meat Boy. Yeah, okay, I'll be able to go with that. Right, Snowfoot, our dearest Snowfoot, the only dedicated builder that we have, is also a diggerer. Makes sense. Since you are a dedicated builder, can you afford to be a mechatronics engineer as well? Yes, you can. Good. Let's sort you out then. Now, you're basically the opposite of Planeseeker in the respect of you don't do... you do building over digging, but in every other respect, you're normal. They're the same. Longhoff and Weregoat. Honestly, I could do with another rancher. I definitely could do with another rancher. I could definitely do with another dedicated digger and another dedicated builder. All these things are very important to me. But, actually, I could make Filthy Fee. No, Filthy Fee is a true dedicated builder. But is a dedicated builder of the most interesting of things. But Longhoff and Weregoat are the types of dupes you only ever have one of in the colony. The fact that Longhoff do mechatronics engineering. I know you like the job, Longhoff, but that is just so random for you to have. Weregoat. Why have I got so many mechatronics engineers? Well, yes, I happen to be an artist, but I actually have a degree in mechatronics engineering. You think I went to university for art? No, my father would never have allowed me. It's what my heart wanted, but what my finances required was mechatronics engineering. Fair enough. Know many people in the same boat, actually. Okay. Seems I've got an entire colony of mechatronics engineers. Alright, so how are we going to set you up? I don't want you to really do operating. In fact, I don't want you to do most things. Let's drop these down and just see where we're going to be. I'm going to allow you to supply a little bit, because I feel that your primary jobs... Oh, what? Oh, damn it. I was adjusting Snowfoot there. Let me put those back then. I was wondering why Weregoat had such weird priorities. Purple Harmony, thank you very much for the gifts up there. That's really kind of you. Diolch. Take care, Mojo. Have some good lunch, mate. Koalas get an appetite after a raid. From what I understand, koalas have a ridiculously huge appetite because what they eat is really not very nutritious. Kind of like pandas. They need to spend all of their time eating because if they didn't, they'd die. STEM skills pay the art bills. That is so true, Shackle. So true. Right, okay, so I will allow you guys to operate, sure. You can decorate. Who's the where's the doctoring? Doctoring there. Why are well, actually, you know what? I suppose I allow people to do doctoring, but I kind of really don't want you to. Unless you have to. But the issue with this is if Longhoff is the one that's hurt, no one takes care of him. It sucks to be a doctor, much like in RimWorld, really. Right, okay, so with that, I'm going to say digging and building, these are lower priorities. Digging is a very low priority for you. I will allow you to operate. Most people I want to operate on some level, but I prefer it. Yeah, no, actually, I think this will hopefully help us out a little bit. I think we've done enough work there. Our peeps should get a little bit more building done, at the very least, and that's one of the big things for us. They eat for 2 hours a day and sleep for the other 22. See, I don't know enough about koalas to know whether you're pulling my leg on that one, but yes, this is a very large tank of very, very warm water, yes. 100%. It is keeping the area around here roasty toasty. Though this CO2, guys, is outputting minus 55 CO2, but very small amounts of it, which is not super useful, but, you know, it does something of a job. Right, we need to continue with stripping things down. I'm going to pop the speed up a little bit more. Also, I need to adjust my mic so I can see the bottom of my screen. Not that my microphone was in the way of anything necessary at the bottom of my screen, but it annoys me. We will I'll remove you. And then, actually, buildings, please. Remove all of this. Followed. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know if those pipes have been completely emptied. Let's just make sure that they are. Because there could be a little bit of petroleum in there, and I don't want it to leak all over the place. That would be decidedly ungood. Right, I would like this to hold plastic. Manufactured material, plastic. I don't want it to hold 2,000 kilos. How much did these things create again? 500 grams. So the two of them operating will make 1 kilo per operation. What's the most plastic-hungry device that I have? And let's make enough to build 2 of those. I think it's probably the steam turbine. That needs 200. So, well, a nice round number. We'll say 500 kilos of plastic. There we go. We'll make it just above, like 1. We'll put it at 3. It's halfway between 5 and 1. So that plastic doesn't get carted off to the other storages. But this doesn't get in the way of me giving some sort of priority storage for plastic somewhere else. I don't need to make that priority storage like level 9 to just make it work. Okay. Oh, right, okay. So, you're not pulling my leg, but it isn't... The being able to sleep for 22 hours wasn't because of what I was thinking. Eucalyptus is so nutritionally empty, they have to conserve energy rather than just eating more. Okay, well, I mean, that's one way of solving the same problem, yeah. Okay, here we want manufactured material. It needs to be plastic. It can be a priority 1, doesn't matter. It just needs to exist. And move the stuff where it needs to go. Now, with that done, I do believe that we may be ready to... Well, we're going to have to replace this pipe. I want tungsten radiant pipes, please. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. I see where I'm putting that. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2. And then at this point, we can just enter the system. But I don't want this to be regular pipes. I mean, this is where petroleum enters the system that I have. So I'm going to bridge over to it. Granite so that it dumps its heat. See, I might want to actually move this around a little bit, because there's a couple of things that I'd want to do with this system. Honestly, I think we've probably got enough liquid in here, though, that I'm not going to need more. But if I ever wanted to introduce more liquid in here, it can be a bit of a pain to do that without flow control. So I'm thinking we're going to move this around a little bit. We're going to do a bit of a switcheroo. I'm going to remove that for now. I don't know what temperature the petroleum is going to be entering this block, but right now we can probably assume it doesn't need to. Not any of the petroleum from down here. But we're going to need to get petroleum into the polymer presses, and that's probably going to want to enter from somewhere around this area. We'll see. But for the time being, I mostly just want to get this to hook up. So, granite pipe. All the way down. Granite pipe. Granite pipe. Granite pipe. Granite pipe. We'll get all of that done. But the idea that I've got here is that the output from my smelters goes over here, joins up with the fluid coming out of the aqua tuners, goes around this loop and then comes back down. Now, the way that we're going to have this happen is I'm going to use flow control after this aqua tuner. Because I want this to be a half full pipe. It doesn't matter to these because it'll take 2 packets instead of 1 to get the same amount of fill. But over here, when this is venting, these are going to come out in full packets. This will allow me to have a bridge from... Well, actually, yeah, I'll take that away. This will allow me to bridge this across. This will still flow in at half a packet, so it'll take half a packet out of this. It'll take twice as long to empty. But that's fine because things will always be in motion, and that's what I want. I want the liquid to always be moving. But that will mean that sometimes this is going to be outputting a full packet. That isn't a problem in and of itself, because if this isn't doing any work, then it's going to be a half packet, which means that I could allow this to bring in more liquid. So that'll actually fix the problem by itself in a way. As long as the usual operation of this is half a packet, then that should ultimately be alright. That being said, another way of doing it is to have a flow control somewhere down here. So this would come out, branch down, link up, and then I could have a valve enforce that even if new liquid has joined the loop from over here, that it can only be let out at 50% capacity. So that there's always room for new liquid to enter the loop. It does slow the loop down, but it keeps liquid moving. It keeps the energy in that liquid moving, which is going to be an important one. That said, at that point, I'm only ever going to want to cool the liquid if it's above 200 degrees. Because I am going to want to keep this temperature in here. If this is below, like, I don't know, if I'm cooling this down too much, it'll act as a negative influence on the overall temperature of the room, and I want the room to at least, like, at minimum be 200 degrees. I think that's probably the way we're going to be rolling with this. It requires a little bit of work, but it should work overall. Zenith, thank you very much for the subscription there, mate. Diolch yn fawr. And thank you again to Purple Harmony. That's really kind of you. Another gift sub for the community. Thank you. Why radiant pipes every 2? Because honestly, you don't need this much radiant pipe. This was excessive use of radiant pipes on my part. Like, super excessive, actually. Yeah, because at that point, I could just replace all of this with it. Instead of insulated, I could have a lot of this just be radiant. I want to get that heat energy into this room. I don't want to use to slow that down. I want to get it out quickly. Could we get these 2 things removed soon? They're going to annoy me if they just sat there. Leafing. I'm so lost. I'm sorry. I'm doing a bad job of explaining that. Basically, a liquid pipe can only store 10 kilos of water. Or liquid, rather, I should say. Down here, I want this to be a full pipe. The aqua tuner will take whatever it's given in a packet. So you can imagine each one of these blobs is a packet. Whatever it's given, and we'll output it. And we'll consume a certain amount of power, and we'll drop the temperature of that liquid by 14 degrees. And however much heat energy was required to be siphoned out of that liquid to turn 10 kilos of it, ideally, or however much of it was in that packet, down by 14 degrees, make it 14 degrees cooler, the device radiates that into the environment that it's in. Well, radiate's the wrong word, but... So effectively, I want this to always be full, so I get the most bang for buck out of the energy I'm spending cooling it. Yeah, at this point, we won't even need this there anymore. We won't need any of this. So let's get rid of this little nugget over here. Liquid shutoff, deconstruct that as an 8. And also the thermal sensor there, deconstruct that one too. And the automation that's controlling it. Let's get all of this done. Chop, chop. Need to move this stuff quickly.